What are your thoughts on Bitcoin and doing maybe like a strategic reserve?
Well, I've got some Bitcoin and I've never paid for any Bitcoin because when I first started doing my show, somebody, a lot of libertarians liked me because I'm basically anti-regulation and not big on government. And people said, put up a QR code, which I wasn't even sure what that was at the time, on my website. And I just put it there and people started giving me Bitcoin. So I have a nice amount of Bitcoin, which I'm very excited about, particularly in the last week or so. I think that should we have some sort of reserve? You mean the government should have some sort of reserve? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we're in such an absolute massive technological shift right now. Like the world, I grew up in a world that I remember I got my first cell phone. It was right before 9/11. I lived in New York City in 9/11. I had a little candy bar, black and white. All you could do was play Snake on it. It's a
good game.
Yeah, that was it. That was basically it. Like, think how fundamentally different the world is from that. That was 23 years ago, basically. The world is changing so fast. Everything that's happening with AI, industries are disappearing. Everything that's happening now with robotics, and that they're, even now it's like, Amazon at their factories is doing so much automation and so much with robots and everything else. But the guy who drops the package off at your house is still a man. But that's not really necessary, right? We can do it with drones. They'll do it with robots. Elon just, Optimus and all this stuff. So it's like there's so much changing right now that I think our currency needs to probably change along with it. So I would tell anybody, like, you should get some Bitcoin at least. I'm definitely not an expert in it.
Why don't you buy more? It seems like that stands for everything that you do.
Well, first off, why aren't I buying more? Again, I never bought any in the first place.
So why not buy Bitcoin?
I like the idea that I just have this thing on the ledger that I've never bought. Like, there's something fun about the idea, like literally.
Also, it hurt maybe to buy it since you were gifted.
Right. So now it's like it's $100,000 basically as we sit here right now, right? It's at 95 or something.
I had
like
the counter before you got here. I was just watching it.
What is it?
It was 99.3.
It could hit 100 today. Because is it the first day it's ever been 99?
Yeah. Today,
then that's probably, people are excited to push it to 100.
So why wouldn't I buy more? I mean, I'll be completely transparent with you. I just had a
99.5.
So we're right there.
By the peak,
it's going to push through, and as soon as it breaks 100, then there's more news, more articles, and it's going to push it.
99.740 was the
prediction right there.
Now I will say though, because I did watch this in 2017 when it hit 20.
Yeah,
and I was watching it on TV, watching it hit 20 for like a second, and then boom, everyone started selling.
Yeah.
And it just plummeted. And then it was a slow descent from 20 down to like 3,500.
Right.
So the same could happen, theoretically. It hits 100. Everyone's like, all right, we're good. Sell.
My sense is it's going to go down again, maybe not all the way down to 20, but like that's part of what's going to happen with this thing over time. I would say why I don't buy more is I just had a meeting with my financial people this week and we were discussing what we have in Bitcoin versus everything else. And they actually felt that my ratio was exactly right. So,
based on what?
Based on how they view people should be diversified in various things.
Okay. BlackRock said the optimal allocation for Bitcoin, and they said this in 2022, is 85%.
BlackRock said that your Bitcoin allocation should be 85% of your assets?
Yes.
For the like the retail investor?
As the ideal portfolio should be 85%. This was in 2022.
How much Bitcoin does BlackRock have?
Yeah,
could be quite a bit.
Yeah,
but
if it's 85% of their portfolio,
rationale was that it was such an asymmetric risk to take for the amount of upside. Like the amount of upside you take
that's interesting.
For the amount of downside was so strong that it should be 85% of your portfolio to maintain the proper allocation of like risk versus reward. 85%.
Right, because at that time, Bitcoin was probably what?
It was in the high 20s, mid to high 20s.
I wonder what their percent would be
now.
Right.
That would be interesting to see.
Well, it would get kind of nutty because you'd only insanely wealthy people would be able to do that. So, this is where I listen to my financial guys. Like if you have people around you that you trust, that you think are good, like you should take their advice. As I always tell my team, it's like, I will trust you guys until something goes horrifically awry. And since things haven't yet, I trust the people that I've brought in.